Do this. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning and welcome to the Sun Dragon Sideshow.
The VSC edition, the most dangerous show of the week.
For newbies, that's the virtual shopping channel. Hello, I'm Rebecca. I'm the owner of Sun Dragon Art and Fiber in sunny and maybe going to be a nice day today. Brevard, North Carolina. Brevard, North Carolina. What?
It's going to be Kissin' 80. I'm the minion there.
Who are you?
The minion there. I'm Liz.
I was like, you have a name other than just minion. I know this.
Do I?
Your name tag. Yeah. So I didn't think it was going to get that warm today.
Yesterday was supposed to be that warm, and then it didn't. So,
I've already bitten the head off my gingerbread breakfast because Liz told me to. So, because I have a lot of nervous energy today. Shocker. And I'm trying to experiment because I'm not the quiet sister when we film. So I'm putting the mic further away from me. I'm like, where can I put it? So it's here. And we're going to see if maybe our voices are more balanced today. We didn't realize that Liz's mic was malfunctioning yesterday. So thank you to all of you who didn't complain about it. Because I put a little warning when I was editing and realized that she was really quiet. So tell us what you think of the sound today. If I should keep wearing my mic like way far away from my mouth.
We're giggly too.
Oh, it's going to be a day.
Yeah.
Okay, so I kind of like dug myself into a hole with this yesterday. But we have a new yarn from Noro.
Not a bad hole.
Not a bad hole. No, it just means I have to take photos and get this online. That's not a bad hole to be in. It's a good problem to have.
There's only 6, so,
Yeah, so hopefully I can, we were going to get 7 or 8, I want to say, but 2 of the colors are already back ordered. This is a brand new yarn from Noro, and Noro is either love it or leave it for a lot of people. But this one, it's so pretty. And I think it's softer than regular Noro, but you've been working with it, and you have the pros and cons of it.
Yes.
But why don't we talk about what it is? And you read the info and everything, and then we could talk about pros and cons and such.
Okay, we are talking about Noro Rikka.
Rikka.
It is 57% wool, 22% alpaca, and 21% silk.
So that's just to butt in, because I do. Like the alpaca and silk, this is much softer than Ito. And I don't even think Ito's that bad, but some people think that Noro is like rough and scratchy. They love the colors, but it's rough and scratchy.
It's very soft.
It's got a softer color palette because I think of the alpaca and silk.
Yeah.
Or maybe that's just what they were going for. I don't know. Keep going.
For 200 grams, you get 320 meters. So it's like 352 yards. Somewhere.
Yeah, I put it in the 350 range for yardage. About.
Don't machine wash it. Don't dry it. It will felt.
Hand care. Hand washing. Be gentle with this.
They are recommending a US 8 to 10 needle. They're considering it a bulky, and we are retailing it for $55 a ball.
And what's neat is they call these dragon eggs. They've been doing this for a while now, and I just haven't embraced it yet. But now I'm like, we're Sun Dragon. Let's call them the dragon eggs. They're the giant cakes. The 200-gram cakes. Ito is now it's the trend that Noro's kind of heading towards is the 200-gram or 150-gram, larger amounts of yarn rather than the little 50 grams or 100 grams of silk garden and I almost said silk curion. Silk garden or curion. I think it's great because you can they have more colors usually when they're this big. And then you need fewer of them for a project, but there's a bigger price tag for a bigger amount of yarn. So why don't we get into why they're calling it a bulky.
So
what have you found and what have you been knitting with it?
What I've found while I've been knitting with it.
And after you say that, can you show your project off?
Yes, I will show my project off. Is I have found bits anywhere from like a DK, like it's pretty thin in there, all the way up to like a super bulky.
Like I'm seeing a fluff in here. There's some fluffies.
And some of the fluffier, like there's one kind of right there.
Yeah, see, look on the outside. Look right here. Look where I'm pointing.
Yes,
it's super fluffy.
It's super fluffy. Like it's. I'm using an 11 needle, and yeah, I'm gonna keep pulling because it's fun for me. This super bulky bits, I was like, this is kind of bigger than chunky, but when I look at how it's knitting up on my project, there are some fluffier bits, but it's evening out. Like there's a fluffy bit right there.
That's so
but
pretty.
Yeah, all in all, it's evening out pretty nice.
Mostly fluffy, chunky, super bulky bits though, right?
It's
like
there were some spots that it was like I'd get a little bit and then a chunky bit and then fluffy, and then it would go thin and then it would go fluffy faster, and then this ball isn't as prolific with the fluffy bits.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah. I did notice that those of you that use Noro know that sometimes there's vegetable matter in it.
What do you mean by that?
Little bits of grass and twigs.
Because someone who doesn't know what you're talking about might be like, "There's broccoli in this yarn." What?
No, there's not broccoli in the yarn.
There's roughage.
Because Noro is known to underprocess their yarn. Sometimes you'll get grass, and the first ball I had a bit more than I would like with a ball of Ito. So.
Yeah. Well, yeah, so they don't card it as like, I don't know. Like my theory is that they're not combing it out and straining out all of the stuff that can be caught up at the farms and in the sheep and it's clean, but like it's probably
grass,
washed.
But there's
clean
grass.
Straw in there. Yeah.
Yeah. It wasn't like I could feel where the vegetable matter was when it was running.
Did you pick it all out?
And I just pull it out. Like it's tiny little bits.
That's kind of sometimes why people consider Noro to be extra rough, is there's just extra stuff in it.
Yeah.
Again, that whole under process, like even though there's multiple bits of stuff twisted together, it still is more of like what I would call a single ply.
Yes.
So rather than like they have all these fibers coming together, but it's not like they've been plied separately and then put together like a twist like this. I can see at least 2 plies in that are twisted together. I'm grabbing yarns that are under here. This has a lot of different plies to make up that single strand of yarn. It's a lot of fibers coming together, but it really makes up like a single ply.
Yeah, and some bits are a little tighter twisted than other bits. So
that's why with Noro, often with a lot of Noros, if you try to sew with them or pull really hard, it might break. But it doesn't mean that Liz's sweater is going to fall apart.
No.
So
it's I found 2 knots in my first ball, but so far I haven't found any knots.
You can find some knots because when they're trying to spin and not ply this, but spin this, it'll come apart and they'll knot it back together and keep going. And a lot of yarns will do that just because if they had to start a new ball every time something broke or they ran out of yarn, we'd have so much wasted yarn on the cutting room floor that yarn would be even more expensive than it already is. So that's the thing with Noro overall. And yes, there's a lot of thin thickness going on with lots of Noro yarns. Liz is noticing it extra with the Rikka, but it's also softer. It's got alpaca and silk in it. Oh, yeah.
When people are like, oh, I don't like Noro, and I don't see how people could. People like Noro for the colors. Like, it's the colors. Like this, the yarn that I got for this, I love this color.
Yeah, and it's more subtle than some of the other Noros are more vivid, but it's still beautiful.
Yeah. Like, I showed my mom and she went, "Oh my gosh, it's all neutrals."
Oh. We had someone who it hadn't even been taken out of the bags yet, out of the box. I opened the box and she was going, ooh, at I don't even know which color. And she bought 3 of these. We didn't even have them in the system yet. So we only have 3 left of this colorway.
We have 3 left of that colorway and 3 left of the colorway that I'm working with.
Here's a fuzzy.
Yep.
Maybe, I think, yeah, there's a knot right there, but that's going to happen. Yeah. Liz only bought 3 of these. So let's go through the colors. And again, we have more coming in if it gets replenished, because I think we ordered, I want to say there's more than 7 colors, because we have, what, 6 here?
We have 6.
6. And I know there's definitely one back ordered. There might be 2 that are back ordered already, even though it's brand new, because all the stores are like, Noro! I should mention, if you don't know, Noro is from Japan. And Isaku, I'm probably saying that wrong, Noro, the founder, recently passed away last year, sometime really soon, really recently. And his son is taking it over and doing some new things with it, which is kind of fun. So, but mostly in a tribute to the original founder, who is known for just like, they tend to, I think I was seeing a post where a lot of what happens with Noro is they dye the roving first, they dye the fibers, and then they spin it up. And it's like Peterbrook does that too. It's just gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous.
It's the how they spin it. You know, like it's shorter bits of yeah. It's awesome.
So these aren't as vivid, but they're still gorgeous. So why don't we start with the color that you are knitting with?
I am knitting with number 12. It is Koga, Koga.
And we're gonna
butcher
slaughter all these names, but you know,
it's yeah.
And what are the primary colors?
The primary colors in it are grays, browns, and a blue or a blue gray. There's like actually some navy in this that doesn't exactly pop when you're looking at it, but it's like 2 different shades of brown. Let me turn this around so you can see the back. Browns, and that's how blues.
This is how a lot of Noro knits up. It will be kind of stripy, but not necessarily like rigid separate stripes, and not necessarily all the same thickness, like close to the same thickness, stripy gorgeousness. And it all depends on the width of what you're making, how chunky or spread out those stripes are.
If you're doing a scarf, you're gonna get thicker stripes. If you're doing a sweater, you'll get thicker stripes on the torso if it's top down than you will up here, because you have more or thinner. Yeah,
no, thinner up there.
Thinner up here.
She was right. Why did I try to correct her? I'm sorry.
So, but I'm not trying to match the striping pattern either on my sleeves, because that would
take more brain power and effort. And
trying to find, okay, how much did I?
So the last chunky yarn, number 5, chunky, bulky, whatever you want to call it, from Noro that we had was the Bachi, was like a chunky version of Ito, which is 100% wool. And there was a neutral, like cream and brown colorway that I made. I called it my COVID cardigan back at the beginning of the pandemic. And so I love their neutrals too. Their colors are gorgeous, but I love their neutrals. And this is the neutral version of the Rikka. It is called Camille number 10. And it is all tans and browns, and some are warm and creams, and some are cool. And that is just, if you like neutrals, this one is just absolutely gorgeous. And we have a ton of it. So we got 2 bags of this.
So almost like cold and warm.
There's a little bit of warm. Yeah,
there's
little cooler browns in yours. Yeah. But like you can see some of the different shades of brown mixed in there. That's just so pretty. Pick a color for one, Liz.
The purples. This one is Tarumizu, Tarumizu, number 7.
I would say Tarumizu, and I'm totally butchering it still, but you made me think of tiramisu. But It's got a lot of purples and blues, and there's a little bit of red in there,
Yeah.
and browns and grays, and oh, it's so pretty.
And that, like, the red is a red.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a tomato red, and it's not a wine. It's a nice, pretty red. Even
but
looks like there's some green.
There's a winey, purpley red in there too. So lots and lots of like warm purples, but blues,
and some orange.
Oh my gosh, it's so pretty. It's just so hard to like just explain all the colors.
The hardest thing about explaining all the colors is you don't necessarily notice them until you knit with it.
And then more colors are probably like, down in the layers and things like that. So getting a phone call in, and I don't even know where it's from. They can leave a message if it's important. So okay, this one is Isanara. It is number 5. And I'm seeing a lot of aqua and blue and purple and pink, like magenta pink.
I see yellowy
and
orange.
There's some yellows in here. Oranges. Yeah, that magenta pink is really, really pretty. So this is almost
a rainbow.
It's almost like a cool jewel tone rainbow with a little bit of yellow and maybe green in there. But green is not a color that pops out at me. I think there might be some greens where the yellows and blues and purples overlap. But this is like jewel tone rainbow to me. So you want to do the green one?
I'll do the green one.
Speaking of green,
this one is Yufu, color number 8, YUFU.
Yufu.
It is got grellos, like an emerald foresty green. It's got blues and pinks.
I see like a turquoisey in there.
A turquoise. There's a light browns. It's all, and there's some
very
purples.
Earthy, but then there's pops of other color in with all the earthy. So it's not totally earthy. Like if you buy it thinking it's all earth tones, you will be surprised, hopefully in a good way.
Yeah.
By things that aren't earthy in it. And the last one we have is number 4, Nomi. And I would say this is the warm rainbow one. So I see some coral pinks and some more almost sienna oranges in here. And then there's some aqua and purple. And, oh, but look at this. Look at this hiding in here. That's a dark green right in there. Look at that. That is so cool. It's just, you're going to have a surprise. I see some of those magenta pinks in here too. So this and a little bit of like grass, yellow, green. So this one's going to hit most of the rainbow palette if you want a full rainbow palette. That is number 4, Nomi. And then if you want the jewel tone rainbow with not much green in it, you want the Isanara. If you like a lot of green with some other little surprises in it, you want the Yufu. And then if you want more the cool end of the spectrum that's going over the rainbow edge into the reds again, but more neutrals, then you want the Tarumizu. And then we have these two lovely neutrals. Neutral with some blue and just neutral browns and creams. The other color, the at least one I can remember is really pretty, and if there's another one, we'll see. The other one, it was like this jacked up with colors a little bit more, so a little more blues and stuff in it. When we get it in, we'll let you know, but it could be a while. Production is slow coming over, so we have a whole nother line of Noro that I want to bring in. I have no idea when it's coming in, and it's going to be gorgeous too. It's going to be thinner than this stuff, but this, if you want a chunky knit that's not super chunky except for some fluffy bits, and the alpaca and silk and wool, I mean, that's such a nice combo for Noro. Like, it's one of the reasons I brought it in is it's softer than the straight up wool, and it's toned down a little bit too, but so pretty. Anyway, so the yardage, like we were saying, is like about $3.50 for 200 grams. That breaks down to $175, I want to say, per 100 grams. So that, do the math on that for how it compares to other number 5 yarns. You're knitting on an 11.
I'm knitting on an 11, and
does it seem to be pretty happy on an 11?
I'm liking it on an 11.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to see what it'll do in the wintertime, because I know, like, the Ito, and I did my Ito sweater on an 11 too, and the wind won't blow through it. So we'll see what.
So they're recommending an 8 to a 10, but you can go bigger, especially those fluffy bits. It'll all balance out. This will be on sale until next Wednesday when we film again with the code product of the week with spaces between the words. If you go to the product of the week category on our online site, the instructions are there. You have to put the code in to get the 15% discount. 15. So it's not that confused with 50. It's 15% off. And I will do my best to take pictures when we're done filming and get it up online. So I'm so distracted today. Apologies. But tomorrow we will have
Becky and Lizzie.
Dear Becky and Lizzie. And if you would like to ask us a question, then you're going to email
Liz at sundragonartandfiber.com.
And yeah, and then we have virtual sit and stitch on Friday. We had one last night. It was pleasant and nice, and thank you all for coming. And we'll have another one Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, and you get into that on Zoom with the shop phone number.
828-877-3550.
And what would you like to sign off with, Liz?
Like, subscribe, comment, ring the bell, all the fun stuff.
Yay! We'll see y'all later. Bye.
Bye.